One license remains in this game, and that is the Super License. So, let's go and get it, since this is the only license we have left to do now. Let's go and get it. So, from what I know at least, most of these should be pretty easy to get the gold on. I don't think there's going to be too much trouble here, as we have got, let's see, 2 Yamahas, 1, 2, 3, 4 Hondas, 1 Kawasaki, 1 Yoshimura, 1 Aprilia, oh, and 2 Kawasaki's, my correction. So, let's start off at Tsukuba Circuit with the Yamaha TZ125. And let's see if we can get the gold here. I'm hopeful in saying that we can. I think this should be easier than the previous license, but either way, we'll see how we do. So, there's the description. You can always read it in your own time, even though I didn't show it for every single test. And I forgot to change my riding gear again. Oh well. I'll have to remember to do that by the time we get into challenge mode. Or at least I'll have to tell myself to do that. And already failed. You know what, I might as well go and change my riding gear now that I think about it. I'm just gonna go and do that now. Because I failed. And because I figure it's time for a change. I might as well go and do that, because why not? Okay, let's try this again. I've now changed the overalls of my rider because I figured it was time for me to do so. And also because, well, I just wanted to. Okay, so about 1.4 seconds then. That's how much I need to improve by. Okay, alright. See if we can get there. Okay. Okay, we're doing okay at the moment. Just gotta make sure I hold on. Okay, how much am I up by now? Okay, half a second. Okay. Just gotta make sure I don't screw this over. Then we should be there. As long as I can just stay on the bike, we should be okay. Okay, just gonna stay in it, stay in it, stay in it. Stay in it. There we go. I improved by half a second. And I got it done. Alright, one test down, and that only took me 12.5 minutes to get there. Including a changing of riding gear as well whilst I was at it, because, well, I figured since I failed on my first try, I might as well change that over. I did also show that in a sped up part of the video, but now we get to head to New York. And where this is our description. And we are driving, sorry, I keep saying driving for some reason. We are riding a Yamaha VMAX. And we have got so many 90-degree corners here that we've practically got to be a surgeon to thread our way through these. And apparently at the end of the lap, before we get back onto Times Square, we have Columbus Circle. I don't know what that means, but I'm just going to take that as a sign, as I so often do. Honestly, the real test with this one is that you basically have to more or less make sure that you're not getting it wrong in the corners. And I am still overshooting the corner. See, the key to passing this is not necessarily going balls out, but you just have to make sure that you're going fast enough to get through the corners. And I gotta say, on a bike like this, that's actually pretty hard to do. And it's especially hard when you're trying not to overshoot the corners either. That's the real test here. The test is to just get the lap in. Especially since you're doing it on a bike that does not have very responsive handling. It is still a street bike. I can definitely say that for sure, but really you just have to focus on getting the lap in and making sure that you do not overshoot these corners. I'll be very surprised if this winds up being a gold first try, because I made a lot of mistakes on this lap. Anyway, heading towards the roundabout at Columbus Circle, and also heading past the Earth statue in the process. And let's see if we can get something done. Okay, how far off the gold am I going to be? I don't think this is going to be good enough for a gold. Actually, it just might be. Oh, it's definitely enough for a gold. Yeah, once I really stopped and I told myself to just focus on the corners, I somehow blitzed the gold time. I gotta say, that was really easy once I really got the lap going. That definitely felt like it was a lot easier for me to get the gold than what it should have been. But either way, there we are. I did of course hear that the super license tests with most of these, they're actually pretty easy once you get used to them. It's just a matter of you being able to adapt to the bikes as well as the tracks, and making sure that you can eventually nail the lap in the process. As this time, we are back at Grand Valley, and we are riding a Honda CBX 1100 XX. And here is our description again, which is what I always give. Alright, let's go. And our goal time is a 2 minutes 8.8. Just have to make sure we can get this one moving forwards. Okay. So doing good so far. Okay. Yeah, a lot of these tests are actually pretty easy once you get used to the lap and the bike you're riding. Basically, you just have to focus on getting through the lap, and then once you feel like you've got enough pace to say that you're accustomed to the circuit layout, then you can eventually start to work out how to go faster and faster as you work your way forwards. That's basically the only thing you really need to think about with these tests here. You just need to make sure that your bike is clipped to the surface, and you also just need to make sure that whatever happens from here, you just have to focus on making sure that everything's alright. Also, taking this chicane on the bike, it's actually a lot of fun, if I do say so myself. Even though I went a little bit wide there on the exit. How far off the goal am I going to be? Because I know I'm going to be off. It's just a question of knowing by how much. Am I going to get it? Am I going to get it? Yes, I do. I get it by over a second. Gold first try, baby! And I got it by over a second, no less. But either way, there we go. 3 tests down, and still 7 tests to go. As we now move on to test number 4. Let's go. I also might as well get myself a replay saved at some point of one of the racing bikes, since that's probably what I'll wind up doing. And this time we are at Laguna Seca, and I gotta say, this track will be pretty hard on the bike, if I do say so myself, because you've got plenty of uphill and downhill corners. Because, well, I gotta say, once you get into the corkscrew of this course, you're basically seeing yourself just experiencing a sudden drop in... You're basically just seeing yourself having a sudden drop in terms of incline radiation. And basically, the only thing you really have to do is make sure that once you're used to the track, you just pretty much have to make sure that you don't get it wrong at the corkscrew. Because I can guarantee you will fail at least once or twice before you actually get it right. And that's what I think is going to happen to me here. Even though I do have plenty of experience with Laguna Seca anyway, because, well, I've technically driven thousands of laps around Laguna Seca anyway. And, as I expected, I immediately fail. But then again, I knew that was going to happen. Okay, let's try again. And make sure that this time, we do not run wide on the corner exit. Okay, how far off am I going to be? I know this is not going to be a gold time, but how far off am I going to be? Okay, 1.3 seconds. At least I actually set the lap that time. So, let's chase that 1.3 seconds and see how long it takes for us to get it. Alright, okay. That's a bit more like it. Okay, we're doing well so far. Up by 1/4 of a second in the first sector, as I step on the brakes a little bit there on the exit of turn 3, and heading under the bridge. And looks like I'm now heading under the second bridge right before the uphill section, and back on the throttle as quickly as possible as I now head up the hill into the corkscrew, and as ever, doing a short shift because I don't want to screw up the exit. And I am now just a tenth ahead of my Ghost. Let's see if I can gain some time here. Okay. And is this going to be enough? Yes, it is. It's enough by less than 2/10. Got there eventually. And I did it riding a Honda CB50F Racing Modify. Alrighty. 4 tests down, and still 6 to go. Let's see if we can do well in the other tests. As this time, we are now on the Racing Modified Honda CB 1300 Super Bowl Door at Sonoma Raceway, or as it was called at the time, Infineon Raceway. So, I think we should be okay with this once we get used to it. It's just a matter of me making sure that I can get through the corners okay. How far off am I going to be? I know I'm going to be off, but by how much? I'm only a tenth off. Okay. I'm only a tenth away from the gold, literally. Okay, let's try and see if we can gain that tenth we're down by. See if we can actually get this one right. Okay, 3rd gear. Right. Okay. Okay, don't need to go too fast, because I only need to gain a 10th. And at the moment, I think I seem to be going okay in that department at the moment. Okay. Okay, keep it nailed, keep it nailed. Okay. Okay, that's all good. A little bit deep there in those 2 rectangular corners, or squared corners I should say. And I'm up by 8 tenths. Okay. Yeah, you've really got to be deep in that second apex of the chicane to get through there. And through this much deeper hairpin compared to what's on the road course. And this time I think we're going to get it done. And we do. We get it done by 8 tenths of a second. And now we are halfway through the Super License, as we just have another 5 tests to go, and then that'll pretty much be it for the License Center, as we are now done in Sears Point, California. And so we now move on to test number 6, Midfield Raceway, and where this time we are riding a Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R. And there's your description. Okay, let's go. let's go and see if we can get ourselves the gold. Since I reckon I'll probably fail this a few times before I actually pass. I swear to God, that last corner is basically going to be risk versus reward. That's how I feel that last corner is going to go for me personally. It basically is going to be risk versus reward, whichever way I see it. And I know it's going to punish me if I get it wrong. Because that's what I think is going to happen. Because I feel like I'm going to be victimized to that corner again before I get it right. Okay, not that time. Okay, can I actually get enough speed off the corner this time? Am I actually going to pass? Come on, come on. Yes! First time I pass, I get the gold. And part of the reason I did that as well because I had to adjust my rider's position through that final chicane right before I was gonna die. Although it doesn't really help to say that corner did claim me again, because, well, that's just what it's gonna do. But either way, doesn't matter because we've now got 6 golds, and we still have another 4 to go. So let's head to our next one, which is at Special Stage Route 5, and where this time we are riding the Yoshimura Hayabusa X1, and where our gold time is a 1:39.5. Okay, let's go and get that time. At least I can say on street tracks I do have a bit more room to run because I have more asphalt to get myself through. It is a bit more forgiving than what it would be on a typical racetrack. How did I not fall off the bike there? That basically went from extremely lucky to just downright supernatural. That should not have happened the way it did. But I was so glad I did not fall off the bike there. Because any other times I would have been dead. The lap just would have been instantly dead. If I was any further across than I was. That was probably the luckiest miracle I've ever had in any racing game. Because I did not expect myself to save it the way I did. But nonetheless, it's still fast enough to get me the gold by a long way. I just absolutely hammered that lap. And I went nearly 4 seconds faster as a result. Which is one thing I was not expecting, but here we are. As a matter of fact, I think that lap was so good, I'm actually going to save a replay of it now. Because of just how good it was for me to get that nailed the way I did. I can definitely say these tests so far, they have proven to be easier than the previous tests I did up to this point. it's not a matter of just, you know, being able to, like, fucking just go as fast as you can. It's just a matter of you getting used to each of the courses and then figuring out how to eventually work your way to the gold, more or less. Because once you get used to these tests, they're actually pretty easy to gold, most of them. Now this one is going to be harder, because we are at Fuji Speedway, and there are plenty of areas where this lap can go wrong. As we are riding an Aprilia RSV 1000R Factory Racing Modify. So there's the description, and I should also mention that we are on the old 90s iteration. Basically, it's more or less the course in its original layout, and you really have got to nail it here in the braking area. And you've also got to be careful coming out of the hairpin as well whilst you do it. But yeah, there are plenty of areas where this lap can go wrong. So you've really got to tiptoe your way around this course, and there are certain areas of the course where you absolutely must not go flat out. And at the moment, things seem to be going well. And now we're heading up towards the chicane. I think this is going to be where things really start to get interesting. For me personally. Okay, just gotta get it through. Okay, that's good. I don't think it's gonna quite be the gold, but how far off are we gonna be? Is it good enough? Okay, I take it back. It was good enough. It was good enough by virtually 0.3 of a second. I was not expecting that to be gold first try, but there we go. And now we just have one more test to go. Two more tests to go. As our first one is at Trial Mountain, and the other one is at Suzuka. Here's the first of those two. Trial Mountain, and we are riding a Kawasaki Zephyr 1100 Racing Modify at Trial Mountain, which features a great deal of undulation. And there's the description. We of course have several tunnels to go through at Trial Mountain. I think there's at least 3 from what I know. In terms of my experience and my hundreds of laps, if not thousands of laps I've driven around Trial Mountain. So, I know my way around this track pretty well. Okay, I'm gonna ignore that. Okay, we're doing well so far. I'm at least managing to keep the bike under control whilst I'm at it, which is one thing. Which is kind of what the purpose of this test essentially is. That was so close to failing. If I was any further to the left-hand side, that would have been a fail. In every sense of the word, that would have failed me. Okay. Probably didn't need to brake there as much as I did, but either way, I don't think it really matters. Okay. I know I'm going to be off, but my only question is by how much am I going to be off? That's the real question here. I am not going to be off. Whenever I keep saying I'm going to be off, I wind up being at least 2 seconds up. I don't know how that works, but I can definitely say these tests have been easier so far than what the expert tests were, easily, from what I can tell. But that's the way the story goes. And now we just have one more test to go, and it is at Suzuka Circuit. And then once we are done with that, that should pretty much be finito for the Super license, which, so far at least, has definitely been easier than the Expert license. Definitely. So one full lap of Suzuka Circuit to end off the Super license. And where this time we are riding a Honda CBR 1000 RR. And we are doing one full lap of Suzuka. And so, here we go. And apparently this model is also a MotoGP iteration. Which in all honesty is one thing that this game technically does have a few of. Can I please make it through the corner this time? Okay, I do. Okay, come on. Come on. Give me light. Give me light. Please give me some light. If there is any light. I might need it. Okay, I am staying on the track this time. Okay. Okay, gotta be careful through here. Okay, get through there with relative ease. Alrighty. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. I think we've got the pace established now. I just need to make sure I get it through 130R, and then I think we should be okay. A little bit hesitant there on that exit, but if I can just survive the chicane, then we should be good. Okay. How close am I going to be to the gold? Is it going to be good enough? Yes, it is! I got the gold on my first completed try by 0.8 of a second. These tests have definitely been easier than the fucking expert tests I did just an hour before. That also took me only an hour and 4 minutes to get through all those tests. So, suffice to say, the Super License tests clearly easier than the Expert License tests, because of knowing how they took a bit less time for me to get through. But there we go. that was the Super License. And now we have got some rewards to collect. I wonder what those rewards are going to be. So, first and foremost, we get our Super License. And we have now completed the License School. And for all bronze, we get more fucking riding gear. As I would have expected. And for all silver, we get yet more riding gear. Which is basically all this shit. And now for all gold, we get another pair of helmets, is it? I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And yep, it is. Oh, correction. We get a helmet with some overalls. Okay, anyway. On now to the prize bike that we get. As we get the Yoshimura Katana 1135R from 2001. Cool. Alrighty. The Super License is now done. And I'm pretty sure I did save a replay as well. But anyway, there we go. We've done it all. We've got them all. All 4 licenses are now officially ours. And now all that's left for us to do is to get through the rest of challenge mode and then all of the race events. Excuse me. So first and foremost, we get the Yoshimura Katana 1135R from 2001. This is definitely a street bike, alright. But there we go. So that is the bike we win, for all gold. And now let's look at our progress. Alrighty. So, no change in the game progression screen, but we've now moved up to 30 bikes overall, along with 29 bikes awarded, 150 bits of riding gear now acquired, and we've got all 40 of the license trophies on gold. And that is pretty much everything from the License Center. So, next time on Tourist Trophy, returning to challenge mode.